Hello, and thank you for tuning into the O'Rourke Report. Before we start, let me just say if you want to be notified every time we do an O'Rourke Report, please hit the notification button, hit the subscribe button. I think the most important button that you should hit is the subscribe button because this way, it'll be in your feed and notification actually, I guess, sends you an email to say, "Ooh, a new O'Rourke report just came out." So the most important one, I think, is the subscribe button, but hit both. It doesn't cost anything. Thank you so much. Okay, let's go on. First place we want to go is RHONY. We want to go to New York because I think I've said before, I don't quite understand why Jenna Lyons is on this show. She certainly has got quite a substantial career without um, the Real Housewives of New York. Why is she doing this? Well, we found out this week why she's doing it. She has a startup that she's involved in. We were actually treated to one of her pitch meetings. Oh, it was so authentic, wasn't it? And some great ideas, huh? Um, she is putting up some kind of online fashion magazine. So clearly, this is why she's done it. She wants to promote this new venture of hers, and it made me question: Gee, what is she taking a run for Anna Wintour? I mean, I love Anna. You know, I consider Anna really. She's kind of a sacred cow to me. But she's like Martha. She's up there in a couple of, in the years. And there's going to come a time, there's going to come a world just like we learned to live without Queen Elizabeth. We're going to have to learn that, not, to live without Anna. And is Jenna trying to jockey herself into two positions so when the time comes, she's ready? Uh, who knows? Who knows? I just think there's something off about Jenna Lyons, and there's something inauthentic about Jenna Lyons. And so anyway, we found out why she came back. She's promoting herself. That makes sense. Other thing on RHONY, we were treated to a backstory on Psy, and I got to tell you, I don't care. I don't care what she's putting forth as the excuse for her to be rude and snarky to everybody she runs across. There's no excuse for that type of behavior. There's got to be some self-analysis in there somewhere that should help her find out why she does these things and stop doing it because she's really unlikable when she does do it. We finally did see something with Jessel, who was kind of a crowd favorite last year because Cy was so rude to her. And the benefit to Jessa was people really liked her. People root for the underdog. Well, she had a clueless party, and I don't know why she has taken on this clueless persona, but she has. She has decided that is going to be her métier, being bubbly headed, stupid. It's not a good look on her. It's not a good look on you, Jessel. Rethink that position. That's all I'm going to say on that. Okay, that's enough of RHONY. Didn't have a lot to say about RHONY. I think I told you last week. I talked a little bit about the YouTube channel, gossip YouTube channel called Scandy. Scandy. They name names, very detailed, a lot of background. They're not these 5 minute little, sound bites. They do whoever's doing their research and writing the program for them is really putting some time and effort into it. And they did one on, someone whose trajectory I find fascinating. And she was originally on the show Dance Moms, JoJo Sliwa. I don't know that there's an L in it. I think it's just Siwa. And it's kind of what I feared happened to this kid. She God, it's a cautionary tale. Cautionary tale for any parent who's thinking to push their kids into the limelight. And the mother was, certainly she was living vicarious. She lives vicariously because this JoJo still has millions of followers who love her, but I think she's going down a path we've seen a bunch of child actors go down over the years, and it's not a pretty path, and it doesn't end up well. That's my 2 cents on that one. So if if you're at all interested on how Joe Sliwa became JoJo Sliwa, please Scandy, Scandy YouTube channel, content creator. Other little thing I meant to bring up when I discussed her last week. This is Scandy. She does a lot of in-depth stuff about the P. Diddy situation, which just gets worse and worse every day, doesn't it? I mean, he just operated with impunity. He operated with no fear that anything was going to happen to him. And apparently one of his, if you're like me, you always wondered where this guy came from, the guy I'm about to mention. Where did he come from? Why did he pop up on the horizon? Who is he? I am talking about Cory Gamble. That's right, Kris Jenner's. We don't know what he is to Kris Jenner. Is he a bodyguard? Who knows? Supposedly a boyfriend? I don't know. I'm finding that a little hard to believe. But he is thick as thieves with P. Diddy and his whole inner circle. And those are the scary people. So anyway, I've recommended him before, and I continue to recommend this YouTube content creator, Scandy. So anyway, let's go on to, I'm going to go on to Below Deck. And I'm going to say what I think they made a really, really big mistake. This is Below Deck Sailing, which, as you recall, is going to be Gary and Daisy, and there was the engineer, Colin. Well, I think after last year with all the scrutiny on how these Bravo shows just pour alcohol into their casts and to sit back and wait to see what happens. Now, the cast in particular with Below Deck are a young cast. The vast majority of them are somewhere in their 30s. The older ones, God, I don't know how old Gary is, but anyway, it's a young cast. They're used to a very footloose and fancy-free lifestyle with not having to answer to anybody and anything when it comes to laws. They're usually out on the water, which, do they find the international water line for their hijinks? I'm getting off topic here a little bit, but I think after all the scrutiny last year and we see the way this guy Gary operates, oh God, he's creepy, man. He's creepy the way he targets the women, the other crew members on the boat, and I thought after all the scrutiny last year on the booze and the unwelcome sexual advances, etc., that we would see the end of Gary, and we would see the end of, I think, Daisy. I hate to say it about a chief stew, although I hated Hannah. Didn't hate her, but I didn't buy her BS about the what did she have, Valium, whatever she was popping back on a regular basis. But I think both of them, they should have. They should not have cast them this year. Just my opinion. They got rid of Colin, but they should have also gotten rid of Daisy and Gary. I think they were the face of what is creepy and wrong about the Below Deck shows, which is the young 20-somethings partying hardy, usually ending up in the sack with someone they didn't want to end up in the sack with, or the regret, or it's obvious the guy's just using her, or whatever. I was a little creeped out, a little surprised. That could have been a big mistake on their part. The other little thing I want to say about Below Deck, which is a charming little thing about Below Deck Sailing, I think, is the editors will always find these tiny little clips of the Captain Glenn on his off nights when he's lying in the bed and the 20 somethings are, rolling around up on deck in the hot tub. Glenn is down in his cabin and he's he's always doing stuff like he's playing word games and if he gets something right he comments on it, or he's watching a nature program on his iPad and they do the audio from the nature program. The beaver will go underwater for 4 hours, and the Glenn is enwrapped by it, or he's playing iPad games. They're always funny, silly little 5-10 second vignettes of Glenn in his off time, and kudos to the editors on that one. One quick little thing where I'm going to be tying in Below Deck and Scandy, I see coming up is going to be Tiffany Moon, who, if you recall, was one of the cast members of Dallas, and Dallas was taken off the air. I think the primary reason was Tiffany Moon. I think she made the first claim against Cam Wescott, who, if you recall, was the really annoying blonde who wanted to have pink dog food and would never waste a moment in telling you how rich and influential her in-laws were, how she was just cut above everybody else because she was a Wescott. Well, Scandy, going back to Scandy now, does this whole big thing on Katy Perry. Do you remember there was a lot of controversy a couple of years ago? Katy was trying to purchase an old convent, and the church wanted to sell it, but there were a handful of nuns who still lived there, and they fought it. It went back and forth, and then Katy went on to try to buy another house, and was accused of trying to kick an 80-year-old veteran out of his house. Well, long story short, guess who the veteran was? None other than Cam Wescott's father-in-law. Uber wealthy, houses all over. They just decided, I don't know why they decided not to sell to Katy Perry, and they were going to make a tremendous return on their investment. The senior Wescott had only purchased the house a short time ago. Let's say he purchased it for $5 million. Katy Perry was going to give him $7 million for the house. Huge profit in a very, very short time. Why the Wescotts decided to beat the shit out of Katy Perry, I don't know, but they did. So anyway, that's little worlds colliding. Tiffany Moon equals Cam Wescott equals Katy Perry equals Scandy and Below Deck. So, okay. Let's go on to our next chapter, and that is, I told you last week about House of Villains. It continues to be great. I mean, this show, they have yoga and they bring out little goats to stand on your back in yoga. Oh, it was hilarious. Larsa was doing yoga, the goat comes out and the goat starts eating her extensions. It was hilarious. Who knows what those extensions are made of? Hopefully they're not real hair, because I did do a thing on the real hair market for extensions. So it just has about everything. It just has a lot of comedy. It has some veteran reality television stars who know how to bring comedy. No, it's nothing more serious than they are bringing comedy. These are not people pretending that this is, their livelihood. They're having a lot of fun. It's a great little show. It's about the only show on E, isn't it? Remember when E was a must watch? I mean, I used to watch it at 7 o'clock. I mean, that was my gossip show. I didn't watch Access Hollywood and I didn't watch Entertainment Tonight. I watched E. Nobody watches E anymore. But there was one reason to watch E, and that's House of Villains, recommended highly. Other thing I just want to mention, a kind of shows like House of Villains brings to light. Let's go to the housewife shows. Housewife shows, they have something written somewhere with the producers where they get great filters. They look soft and dewy, and they're 55 years old, and they look like 30-year-old ingenues. Well, that's down to, the producers and the editors giving them these fabulous filters. Well, when you see them on shows like House of Villains or even Watch What Happens Live, you see what they really look like, and they're not great looking. My phone is ringing like crazy, and on top of that, it's telling me the call's coming from Egypt. Hmm. Somehow, I don't think I want to pick that one up. Okay. Filters, no es bueno any other place except the Housewives. When you see them in real life, they really, Larsa without a filter is not a pretty sight. Any of them without a filter are just not a pretty sight. Okay, odds and ends. Let's go on. Let's wrap this baby up. Odds and ends. This is the casting I want to see. I want to see this. And if you guys know who Matt Berry is, you're going to say, oh my God, that's brilliant. Matt Berry and Jack Black. Please, somebody write something for these two, because I have a feeling it'll be great. Other thing I want to say is, you know how on Survivor in the beginning, if you watched it from the very beginning, these people looked toward the end, they looked like hell. They had marks all over their arms and their legs. Their clothes were threadbare. Their hair was oy vey. And now, if you notice, they snuck this in over the last couple of years. They have everybody gets to wash their hair. I mean, there is clean hair. When they go to tribal council, one of their rewards they're able to shower before they go to tribal council. So their hair is all washed and it's clean. And then other thing is they're given clothes. They're given clothes that somehow will look good on camera. Big Brother does the same thing. This cast comes in and they are given all sorts of outfits to wear. Like the cast this year, all the girls with slim, gorgeous 20-year-old somethings, they all wore like yoga pants and yoga tops, and they looked fabulous, but they were constantly, and the colors that they wore too looked fabulous on them as well. So gone are the days of the first season of Survivor when these people looked like they were shot out of a cannon. Same thing with Big Brother. So anyway, that's all I have for today. Thank you so much for tuning in. I have so much fun when I do these things, guys. If you haven't subscribed already, come in, subscribe, get the subscription button, get the notification button, and I look forward to seeing you again here on the O'Rourke Report. Here, I'm trying to find the button I was supposed to hit.